Hello everyone, I welcome all you in this channel. In this video, we are going to explain one by one line of the poem or to the west wind. In the last video, we have discussed about a little introduction of the poet and of the poem. So, in this video, we will discuss one by one line of the poem. So, come on the topic and let's start now. O west wind, thou breath of autumn's wing, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanted feeling, yellow and black and pale, hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes, O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed. In the first line, the poet, O wild west wind, here the poet addresses the west wind and says that breath, you are the breath of the autumn season, though from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanted feeling. In the first line, the poet personifies west wind, thou from, and in the second and third lines, the poet uses literary terms simile. He comparisons dead leaves to magician, just as a magician drives away the ghost and the evil spirits. In the same way, the dry leaves fly in the presence of the west wind. It is are driven like a ghost from enchanted feeling. The poet says that it is invisible power. Here the poet says that west wind is an invisible power, is only visible in its effects like the invisible power of magician, and it drives the dead leaves away. Next line. Yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes, O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed. Here the poet says that whenever the west wind blows, it takes autumn season. It is the very life of the west. It is not seen. The poet in the last in the above lines, the poet says that it is not seen, yet its presence drives away the dead leaves. These dried leaves of different colors, these dry leaves are different colors. Some are yellow, some are black, some are red. Pestilence stricken multitudes who chariotest to their dark bed. The poet says that they fall off in such large numbers that they appear to have stricken by some disease. The poet describes the scattering of the dry leaves with the help of a beautiful simile. Next stanza is the winged seeds where they lie cold and yellow, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion over the dreaming earth and field, driven sweet birds like frogs to feed in air, with living huge and odors plain and free, wild spirits which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserves here, O here. As you know that in this poem, the poet calls the west wind wild spirit. He describes its effects on trees and land. The west wind drives before it in the decaying leaves of the trees. It also carries the winged seeds to place where they are protected during bitter winter. These seeds sprout into flowers of various colors when the spring comes. The west wind is depicted in its double role of destroyer and preserves. Here in this poem, the poet describes that west wind is as preserver and like as destroyer. It destroys that which is decaying and no longer useful. The west wind appeals to shallow tempest temperaments, especially in its wild aspect. Next stanza is that though on whose stream mid the steppe sky's commotion looks clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed, shook, shook from the tangled boat of heaven and ocean. Angels of rain and lightning there are spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge, like the bright hair uplifted from the head of some fierce maid, even from the dim verge of the horizon to the journey's height, the locks of the approaching storms. In this stanza, the poet describes that in this stanza, the poet praises it for its destructive and creative power. It has to hold it in influence on the earth. It is destroyer as well as preserver. It drives away the dead leaves. It also buries the seeds under the earth, where they lie protected all through winter and sprout in spring. These, in these lines, he describes the great disturbance caused by the west wind when it blows through the sky. So, in the first stanza, the poet describes the effect of the west wind on the earth, and in the second stanza, he describes the effect of west wind over the sky. And he said that west wind is a stream that sweeps away these leaves. These clouds get scattered over the blue surface of the sky and spread all over it from the extreme boundary of the horizon to the highest point in the sky. They are, they are the messenger of rain and lightning and are the locks of the approaching storm. They look like the hair uplifted from the head of some Tangite man, the female worshipper of Bacchus, god of wine. Next line is that though darts of the dying year to which this closing night will be the dawn of vast specular, vaulted with all thy congregated might of vapors from whose solid atmosphere black rain and fire and hell will burst, O here. The poet, sorry, the poet, the poet says that when west wind blows, it drives, it also carries the winged seeds to place where they are protected during bitter winter. These seeds sprout into flowers of various colors when the spring comes. The west, therefore, the poet depicted west wind is in a double role of a destroyer and preserver. It destroys the which is decaying and is no longer useful. The poet appeals to the timeless west wind which is mourning everywhere in autumn and discharging the full function of a destroyer of old leaves and preserver of seeds.